I'm the slasher movie reviewer, and all of my reviews have been leading to this. No, not really. This is my last review, nothing like that. But this is supposedly the last installment in the Saw franchise. So, of course, this is my review of Saw 3D. Now, what's Saw 3D about? Pretty much Detective Hoffman and Jill Tuck going heads, battling it up for who's gonna win and who's gonna conquer over Jigsaw's legacy. That is pretty much about it. You do have this character, Bobby Dagen, who supposedly survived another Saw trap. That, and he wrote a book and stuff like that. But of course, he gets thrust into another Saw game, and he's our main victim in the Saw traps that we follow and stuff like that. And as he goes to room to room to room, help people, sort of like Saw 6, which was directed by Kevin Gert, who also did this one, since he got forced out of directing Paranormal Activity 2. Pity for him. It's a pity for him, because I know he really wanted to do Paranormal Activity 2, but he got to direct the final installment. Now let me tell you, Saw 3D is the bloodiest Saw film to date. Well, no longer to date, since supposedly they're gone, but this is the bloodiest one. I mean, by godly, this one wins by a long shot. There's like 11 traps, while normally I think Saw films have about 7. And there was one trap that I could not take it. The auto shop trap, where you have Chester from Linkin Park, and he's like stuck in this car, and he just, and you have Scream Queen winner Gabby West, Scream Queen 2 winner Gabby West, underneath the car. You have a guy in the back with a ring in his mouth, and a guy is attached to the wall. And let me tell you, that trap just, it had my adrenaline pumping. I had to get out of there. I was just like, oh my god, it was just by far the bloodiest trap. So, Scream Queen Gabby West, you just happened to participate in the bloodiest Saw trap, so you should feel very proud of yourself. But Saw 3D is an excellent film. There's only one downer to this film. I mean, one downer, and that is the acting. I mean, holy cow. I thought M. Night Shyamalan was directing this every now and then with the acting. I was just like, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Please kill this person. And luckily that person would most likely die in a gruesome way, and you were like, yay! And then, of course, there was maybe 1 or 2 that unfortunately stood around. But the people we really loved always do their great jobs. Detective Hoffman and Jill Tuck. I loved the Jill Tuck's character in the Saw franchise. She's like one of my favorite characters. So I was really rooting for her, this whole film. And, but I was also truly blessed to see our great old friend Dr. Gordon back. I don't think that's spoiling the film for you, but Dr. Gordon does return in this film. And I think he mainly returns just so people could just see basically what actually happened to him after the events of the first film, because that was like the main question for people. What happened after the first film with Dr. Gordon? He just vanished, and they never talked about him hardly. Just on side notes. But they explain that. But there's tons of traps. I mean, the traps are bloody, especially the Jigsaw goes public in the beginning. And that is bloody as mess. That was awesome. But of course, the 2 main guys, Brad and Ryan, of course, they couldn't act, but they couldn't act. I also enjoyed that we get to see all of our great survivors in all the Saw films. They also come back, and so we see Trinita Howard from Scream Queens 1 and stuff like that. Beautiful, all that's beautiful to see. But I mean, it's the last 15 minutes that truly give us what we've been dying for in a Saw film. Closure. We've all, honestly, we've been dying to see how this is going to end. You know, once all this weird crazy stuff started going on, because we all thought Saw 3 was going to be the last one, but it wasn't. But suppose after this, we sort of like, I want to see how it ends. I want to see how it ends. But by God leave, the ending is crazy. I loved it. You know, yeah, it's truly for the fans. It is for the fans and the fans only. You know. But if you're someone who finds them okay, you might not like the ending. But honestly, I loved it. The ending is mwah. It's magnifique, and it cherishes everything about Saul. It goes back and just reflects on it, and it's so good. And you get to hear that great score of Hello Zeb by Charlie Closer. One last final time, supposedly, and it's just so good. I mean, this film they just needed to touch on the acting. The acting aspect of this film is good, you know. But Saw 3D is awesome, and the 3D, I will admit, it's decent. You know, it's nothing spectacular. I will admit there are some 3D shots, and that is due to the fact that this film was actually shot in 3D. They used 3D cameras, so there was some 3D effects in this film. I just don't think it was used to complete potential of that it could have been. But you know, it was decent. You know, there was some 3D effects in it. There was body parts being thrown at you, stuff like that. Little needles, stuff popping out. But I saw 3D. Truly, it's a pretty darn good film. It's not the best out of the Saw series, and it's not the second best in my book, but it's up there. I would say it's probably about third favorite in this film. You know, I will admit I read some hatred on this film. You know, people were saying the acting was atrocious, but I will admit you don't go to these Saw films to see Oscar-worthy acting, or honestly even decent acting. You're gonna find a couple of sloppy actors, but I will admit the acting is so bad in this film, though, that every now and then it almost took me completely out, and I was just like, why? But Saw 3D is a great film to be watched. It's a awesome film. You know, it truly just embraces, and I actually truly hope this is the last Saw film, because even though it's going to be sad that Saw will be gone, but I think later on down the road, on Halloween times, I will truly embrace pulling out every Saw film and popping them in as a Halloween tradition. This is a slasher flick, a serial killer that I can't wait to show my kids 15 years from now. Hey, this is what I grew up. I grew up with Jigsaw, you know, and I can't wait. And you know, and honestly, the Saw films have been so consistent and stuff like that, and they've all been good in their own little ways. Yeah, they've had some negative points in here and there, but you know what? They're a blast to watch. They're so much fun. But honestly, I'm giving Saw 3D, so the last Saw film, a 4.5 out of 5. This would have gotten a 5 out of 5 if they had just tweaked on the acting. But honestly, I mean the twist ending is just crazy as ever. It truly embraces it, and there's a line in this film that I love. You know, that Jigsaw says, "Oh, and you know." So, but honestly, you will be truly missed, Saul. I mean, you will be missed. But I tip my hat for you. As always, I'm the Slasher Movie Reviewer, and you've just been slashed.